T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Howdy! Welcome to a Football Friday, everybody. As viewer Jeremy has already written in from Winnipeg, he says, Happy NHL Trade Deadline Day. Ring-a-ling. Oh, boy. I am so ready for the weekend. I hope you are, too. I'm ready for a fun next 2 hours. That's what I know. Kevin the Medium with us coming up in hour one. In hour two, our good friend Mike Davis from the Vegas Nighthawks, head coach and GM of that IFL football team. Moose was supposed to be with us, but because of a travel snafu, he won't. But let's welcome in Kevin the Medium from the Hughes Sports Podcast. I put my Friday best on for you, Kev. As you can see, happy Football Friday, bro. How are you?
I am doing amazing. Are we still calling it Football Friday even though it's hockey deadline?
Believe it or not, yes, we are, because I've got a lot of football things I want to get to, and we'll get deep into it with Mike Davis. As I said yesterday, and you were with me, I said that nobody's watching us for trades right now. Let's be honest, right? They're watching the NHL rights holders. So today would be a great day to talk football, and we're going to. I got some great football topics, Kev, but let's get right into the quick six show topics right now. I want to ask the viewers, did we miss something? Because Kevin and I have both had very busy mornings. And I don't feel so bad, dude. Like in this 24/7 news cycle that we've been in for years now, it's not new. I heard a story this morning that John Carlson woke up, the Washington Capitals defenseman. He didn't even know before he went to bed that he'd been traded to Anaheim. He found out this morning when he woke up. And that's when I found out that Logan Stanley and Luke Shen got traded to the Buffalo Sabres from the Winnipeg Jets. Like it's wild. So is there anything new this morning, is my point?
Well, I went to bed. No, Canucks hadn't done a thing. And I wake up this morning, my phone was blowing up by like 6 different people going, did you hear Garland got traded? And I was like, I went to bed at 10 o'clock. When did this happen? So apparently somewhere between 10 and 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, Garland got traded from the Canucks for, I think we got a rubber chicken and 2 frozen pucks.
I know you weren't happy with the return for Connor Garland, but you know what? Good for that kid. Sorry to say, Kev, that he gets out of Vancouver, what they hope will be a contending team. He's always given his all. That's the weirdest thing. I've watched Canucks games. Connor Garland does play his nuts off. He always does. He doesn't cheat you, nor really, in my mind, did Tanner Myers and a lot of guys. But for whatever reason, it just wasn't working in Vancouver for all of them. So he gets a safe thing. But when you say your phone blowing up, can I say something to you? And I did not tell you this on the phone yesterday, but it's something about me. I'm used to it now. It's something about me. But I'm getting my phone's blowing up with all the inside Bobrovsky stuff from here in South Florida. And Bob's saying this, and this person's saying that, and don't repeat this. I'm like, I don't want to know. Why are you writing me this? I don't want to know. Because as we sit here right now, I don't believe Sergei Bobrovsky has been traded. My phone has not blown up with that. And it's bit of a contentious issue. This is what I think people don't understand, and I know that's why they enjoy this show, Kev, because we do take you a little bit inside what goes on. Like these GMs, it's why they make more money than the coaches. They're into the millions, well into the millions, the general managers. They don't sleep. They're they're all very intelligent, but the GMs, like in the case of Bill Zito, let me just put it this way. He's the GM of the Panthers. He wouldn't be doing his job properly if he wasn't doing what was best for the Florida Panthers. Not necessarily Sergei Bobrovsky. Okay, can we just read between the lines here? I mean, it's been reported Bob doesn't want to be traded, okay? But it's Bill Zito's job to do what's best for the Panthers. And there's a bit of a rub there. And it's like, I don't want to know all this, okay? Your thoughts on all of that?
Well, and texting you or I and asking us, well, why didn't we get more for Garland? How do I know this? I'm just a fan who happens to have a show on Facebook. Come on.
Well, I can tell you why they didn't, because this is something you and I did talk about on the phone this morning. That's all they could get. Okay, because I don't think Patrick Alvin in Vancouver, while this is his first GM job, I don't think he's bad at what he's doing. I've said this a few times, it's like you can't blame Alvin for I don't think all of the problems are the Canucks culture problem. Just like I think Brad Treliving's being unfairly maligned in Toronto, but oh my God, did they look bad last night? Again, back to what a time to be alive. Somebody put on Twitter the video of the Leafs bench. Craig Berube was talking to them, and nobody was looking at him. I'm like, they're all just checked out in Toronto. Like it literally, like, listen, put yourself in that work meeting. You've been in them around the boardroom, and the boss is talking, and people are looking out the window. They're on their phones. Yeah, that's what the Leafs are right now. It's no different.
The Canucks have been
that it's no different.
The Canucks have been doing that since like freaking December.
3 years ago. And, well, they did finish in first under Rick Tocchet, which is what nobody will ever remember. They did hang a banner up there under Rick Tocchet in his first year. Hard to believe. Does that seem like a century ago? Because it does to me.
It does. And it's funny, Jake and I were talking about that. They had one of the greatest coaches we've had in a long, long time. And he didn't want to hang around. So I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, people, when we come back, we are going to talk some football. But as we sit here today, it doesn't look yet like Sergei Bobrovsky's been dealt. But again, 95% of our views are later in the day and throughout the weekend. So, I mean, I don't like the live component of that. You know what I mean? By the time people get to this, the day of the deadline will be over. So we'll get to the football talk when we come back, because I know that people are dying for that. I have some fun, cute notes on that, too, that I think people will put a smile on their face, because I think we're all ready for that. 902-518-3033. Yes, we all need some fun and positivity going into the weekend. There ain't no two ways about that. But the Quick Six show topics and the warm-up are brought to you by our good friends, Neil Chark of Uniglobe Carefree Travel, presenting sponsor of the warm-up. Whether it's team travel, sports getaways, business trips, or bucket list vacations, Kev, you're going on another. You might want to look up Neil and the team at Uniglobe Carefree Travel, delivering expert planning, seamless service, trusted experience every step of the way. Trust is a very big thing. Planning your next trip? Connect with Neil at uniglobecarefreetravel.com, or Neil, that's Neal, at uniglobecarefree.ca. We're just getting rolling. This is the warm-up. I'll tell you again, the text line for Western Dodge is 902-518-3033. Kevin the Medium is with us from the Hughes Sports Podcast and Cavalli Channeling. Yes, he speaks to dead people. We may need to get into that if we talk any more Vancouver Canucks. We'll be back in a second. You're watching the RP Show, and a Football Friday really gets underway in earnest when we come back on Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is back. PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Center April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop edgier seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Papikassis Developments Limited.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sastix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
All right, if you're looking for lunch plans, you haven't made them yet, slide on over to Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. I love those places. I'll be at both this summer. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Pump Jack's. They bring you our picks daily. I was 6 of 8 on NHL picks last night. We'll make our picks a little later on. Just before we get to the football, Kevin the Medium's with us from the Hughes Sports Podcast. Does a wonderful job, Kevin and Jake Hughes, on that. I just, in the break, I surfed Twitter. You probably did too. Do you feel that the trade, I know you would. I know you.
You know me.
The trade the trade deadline, like hysteria and furor. I say this as respectfully as I can because these guys and gals are my friends. They've come across a little silly in it. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
I do, and I mean, I just all I keep thinking of. What's your audience? Because it's definitely not me. I think it's more Jake. And if anybody's watched our show, you know that Jake's the nerd. He's the stat guy. He's this trade speculation guy where I'm like, what are we doing? Are we playing? Are we playing tonight? What's the team going to look like? Are we going to win or are we going to lose? That's all that really matters to me.
Well, and me too. But just it's that whole thing about this toilet of an industry. I swear to God, it's you need to be first, and if we're right, that doesn't really matter. The main thing is being first, and then we'll sort it out later. You know, it's a buyer's market, it's a seller's market. Here, the other thing. And as we sit here, on the flip side, though, I get it. I mean, I've done it from the rider perspective of my old job, like Sergei Bobrovsky. Yeah, they're looking for deals. They are. And I could tell you who the top teams are. I know it all. I heard. Then I didn't even want to hear. But anyways, enough about that. Can people just tell me if Bob gets traded today? That's all I care about. Point 2. Before we get to the NFL, Sherwood Co-op gas bars. Get familiar with them, Kev. You're now living in Saskatchewan, so you've seen Co-op gas bars. They have them in Calgary.
Yes.
The head coach of the Grey Cup winning Saskatchewan Roughriders was at Sherwood Co-op gas bar, Chuka Boulevard this morning, and he just happened to have the Grey Cup with him. If that isn't like the biggest CFL story. So Corey Mace gets out of the vehicle, poses for photos with fans with the Grey Cup at the gas station in Regina. Like, don't ever change. Please.
I love
it. In what other league, Kev? What other town?
You're not going to see the Stanley Cup just roll up to the Co-op gas bar and somebody get out with it and take pictures. That's not happening.
You largely don't ever see that story. So anyway, I retweeted it, and I felt bad because Sherwood Co-op gas bars sponsored our Regina Pats broadcast for years and years and years. And I didn't realize I wasn't following them. Somehow it came up on my Twitter. I'm like, I got to retweet this. Corey May's just bombing around the Queen City with a Grey Cup in the back. Just don't change. Okay, more CFL in a second. Point 2, though. Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, Mike Evans, and Trey Hendrickson are among the headliners in free agency, which starts Monday when teams can begin discussions with NFL free agents. Meanwhile, Fernando Mendoza won a Heisman Trophy, led Indiana to its first national championship ever, and will be the number 1 overall pick when the Raiders are on the clock next month. The rest of the NFL draft isn't that clear-cut. It's not even a certainty that another quarterback will be selected in the first round after Mendoza. I'd sheepishly ask you where the NFL is on your radar. And before you answer, I did listen to NBC Sports Radio this morning because I always do with Mike Florio, and I'm like, it is slim pickings, man. They were talking about McDonald's hamburgers, and like yesterday they were talking about old TV shows like Mr. Rod. Like there's nothing. There's nothing.
It's that time of the year where it's nothing really happening in a lot of sports. Yeah, you got the NHL playing, you got MLB and their, what do they call it, the pineapple thing or whatever. There's not a lot of things to cover. And whereas the NFL on my list, I would put it down near the bottom. I have so many other things that I write on my list because apparently I have to make my own list. Someone doesn't make a list for me anymore. I have to actually make my own, Rod. And so I'm having
welcome
fun
to life.
With it.
Yeah, welcome to life. I'm certainly old before my time. Well, this is funny. So what I said, they were talking about Mr. Rogers on the NBC Sports Radio. We're talking about the TV show, but we're going to talk about another Mr. Rogers, just so much as Aaron Rodgers is the topic of our poll question today. I mean, I'm casually following it as an NFL and football fan where he ends up, but I'm not into the drama of it. Like, pick one, Aaron. Okay, let me know when you do. I'm not going to follow this every day. But the poll question for fun for everybody, because I did a quick chat GBT. I went to the big board. I said, where are the rumored landing spots for Aaron Rodgers in 2026? And they said, Pittsburgh's leading the way, number 1, according to chat GBT. Minnesota Vikings getting a lot of talk. They actually mentioned Indianapolis, but I didn't put that in the poll. I got, where will Aaron Rodgers end up in 2026? Pittsburgh, Minnesota, retirement, or other? What's your vote, Kev, as a fan?
What was the first one? Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh, where he was last year. Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'll stick with Pittsburgh. They'll re-sign him. Yeah.
Well, that's the odds-on favorite, and I'm interested to see what the voters are saying here. I'm saying Pittsburgh as well. I mean, that's the one thing the fans will never get. I only sort of get it because I've never been in his shoes. I've just been around these guys. They don't retire until they're dragged off the field or a concussion has turned their brain into mush and they don't have a choice. Oh, somebody's going to pay me $15 million to play football? Yeah, sign me up. Or $30 million or whatever. Like, they're not going to retire unless they have to.
Exactly. Look at when I asked Bo Levi, how many more years do you got left in you? And he didn't even answer. His wife jumped in and said, he can go forever. And I was like, well, that's not what I asked, but
that's a scene from Any Given Sunday right there. There is a scene with that. And I'm not comparing the Bo Levi Mitchell household to Dennis Quaid and Lauren Hawley in Any Given Sunday, but literally he was like, hun, he had just gotten his brains bashed in again. He's that old. You've watched Any Given Sunday, haven't you? Probably. It is my favorite football movie of all time.
A long time ago.
Yeah. So he's battling injury. He was in the hospital, and he says to his wife, hon, I'm thinking about maybe hanging him up. And she's like, you will not. Maybe worry about your husband's well-being, not the bank account. That's the movie. I'm not saying that's what's going on in Hamilton. Okay. From the audience, Producer Corey goes, but it is. No, we don't know. But it's just, yeah, that's not something I feel like unpacking today. And I don't feel like you do too either, Kev.
No, but we should make Corey's mic alive so people can hear him talk.
I'm not sure the world's ready for producer Corey's thoughts on all of this. Okay. Okay, so from the audience, we're kind of going back and forth. Please be respectful of the fact it is a Football Friday, but I am also asking the fans, because we're live on the air here, and I'm just not sitting here on my phone like everybody else. Jeremy Wimmy in Winnipeg has written in and says, Corey Perry to Tampa Bay. No cup for Tampa, LOL. Everybody conveniently forgets he won a Stanley Cup with Anaheim back in 2007. Talking about Corey Mace rolling around getting gas in the Queen City with a Grey Cup in the back of his vehicle, the head coach of the Rough Riders. John Ohm says gas prices these days. Ouch. Well, we all know why. I'm not going to go any further down that road. We all know why, and it's not good. Vancouver Eric writes in. He says, nice job, Riders. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I'm surprised Mace is still celebrating. It's getting to mid-March. The season won't wait for Mace to finish celebrating. Hey, he needs gas. Everybody needs gas. So if he's got the Grey Cup in the back of his vehicle, I don't see anything wrong with that.
And you know what? If I'm the coach of the Riders and I just won the Grey Cup, I'm celebrating right up to opening day. Are you kidding me? I'm not stopping. I probably wouldn't be sober this whole time.
Well, you kind of are realizing with these championships, whether it's the USA men's and women's hockey teams, and they're celebrating lustily, and with Corey Mace taking the Grey Cup around, you get to the top of the ladder, you get to enjoy it. You know what I mean? And furthermore, yeah, and so you should. Jeff, the Stamps fans clearly just sour grapes, but we're used to that from him. Oh, and by the way, Vancouver Eric, he says, bring on the UFL. Oh, trust me, I have that in my show topic. So you just be careful or be patient, Grasshopper. Regarding the NHL Trade Deadline, Glenn in Medicine Hat writes in. He says the NHL Trade Deadline shows on TSN and Sportsnet have become quite anticlimactic in recent years. It's not necessarily the network's fault, ... That is a topic for another time, maybe a TED Talk, as the whole concept of evolve or die. The trade deadline itself has been anticlimactic for years, yet the networks have not changed. They keep trotting out the same thing. I mean, we try to be somewhat go with the flow here and innovative with this program. I think that's why there's many people are here today watching this, as opposed to the NHL trade deadline. Yes, we all got that. Corey Perry go to Tampa. We have mentioned that, but I appreciate it. The habitual, I'm not sure who. Here it is. John in Winnipeg says Aaron Rodgers to the Toronto Argonauts. Everybody says some guy at the twilight of his career wants to come to the CFL, and a lot of times they do. But did you see the renovations to BMO Field in Toronto by chance on social media? The seats that have put up, the second deck.
No.
Okay. Well, it's fine. Search it when you get a minute. So they're adding seats at BMO Field, obviously for the World Cup, and actually, I love talking about this. This is the Canadian hour of the RP show. We're on Game Plus TV, headquartered in Toronto. So, like what did you expect? They look like a high school stadium bleachers, okay? So, somebody tweets this photo of it and goes, you couldn't pay me enough to sit in those. And then the predicted 275 replies, everybody crapping on it. And I'm like, dude, what a time to be alive. You can't announce anything without people crapping on it.
It amazes me that we're going to complain when we don't have enough people attending a CFL game, but then we're adding seats to a stadium so more people can attend to see it. It's the CFL.
And for soccer. And for soccer is why they're putting those seats up there. But it's like, well, what did you expect? Lazy boys, with the swinging swivel thing to put your drink on.
That would be nice.
Be putting cheap but they're going to be putting cheap aluminum bleachers up for the world. What did you expect? Everybody's dumping on that. Anyways, it's funny because they're talking about any given Sunday here. Gary in BC. Welcome back, Gary, with 2 R's in Penticton. Haven't seen him from a while. He says, that's my favorite sports movie of all time, too. Love that Al Pacino speech. Oh, Guy. Do you know the one that he's talking about, Kev?
Yes.
The inches are all around your face. The scratches. Oh, yeah. So good. So, oh, my God.
I'm going to have to go watch that movie today.
All right, I got me too. Me and my buddies, which you know a lot of them, we sit around and laugh about Pacino, and not in a bad way. Stands in the middle of the locker room. I've made every wrong decision a middle-aged man could make. Is he reading my diary? I'll tell you what, go watch it now as opposed to when we watched it in 1999, and I can tell you, at 53, it makes a hell of a lot more sense. Especially Lauren Hawley slapping her husband when he was thinking of retiring. You will not. Been there too. Okay, hang on, everybody. We'll be back in a second. Yeah. All the good stuff is coming in. Just hang on, everybody. We'll be right back on the Game Plus Television Network here on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, podcast, and WQVZ Radio.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is back. PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Center April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop edge-of-your-seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Pedersen Developments Limited.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's a football Friday, and we're talking NHL Trade Deadline a bit. Kevin the Medium is with me from the Hughes Sports Podcast, and I'll just say this again: I'm not going to make anybody look bad here, but I just saw a point from an insider that had to do with Sergei Bobrovsky, and I'm like, you're totally wrong, because I just got all the insight yesterday, all of it, and this insider. You're just wrong. So all it did was just confirm to me that be careful what you listen to and where it's coming from. That's all. Robin Winthorst writes in. He says, is Scruffy on the RP show trading block today, or will he be back Monday? Scruffy's not going anywhere. Scruffy's untouchable. Plus, you need a buyer.
Am I not good enough?
He's just, he knows Scruffy. It's a Regina thing. Jason in Red Deer writes, and he says, I just noticed you are on the cusp of 6,000 subscribers, Rod. Nice work. Well, thank you. Thanks to the viewers. Thanks to everybody. 1,691 episodes. It's only taken 8 years. But yeah, thank you for noticing. Okay, to what while a lot of people came here today, as I say, a football Friday, I don't want to waste this with Kevin the Medium sitting here. He does such a great job covering the CFL with the Hughes Sports Podcast. So the news of the CFL is this. Over 80 players are participating in the CFL Invitational Combine today on the campus of the University of Waterloo. The top performers will secure berths to the league's National Combine later this month in Edmonton. We're not going to sit here and do Combine stuff. We may, when the National Combine hits in Edmonton, maybe we'll bring the players on. I haven't talked to the CFL about it, but it's worked well in the past. I'd like to do that again. But I'll say this. I mean, okay, where's your interest level on the Combine, Kev? I mean, maybe you're into it.
I get the emails. I'm paying attention to it. It's not, obviously, I'm not staring at my phone like I am right now, watching for trades to see what ball's going to drop next. But I'm definitely paying attention to it.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's far more than I am. But somebody has to. One of us has to on the RP shows. You're our Combine reporter, okay? Now, that just came to me. But one thing that dawned on me, Vancouver Eric wrote in earlier, and he said, bring on the UFL. And I'm going to follow it. You said that. We're going to make our picks. I still put a gun to my head. I couldn't name every team in the league. And I'm somewhat embarrassed by that. But on the other half, that's their fault. Okay? Because they change literally every year. But the one thing I will say, and I want your take if you agree on this. Do you follow any UFL accounts, media accounts, fan accounts, or anything like that? Are you into it at all?
Not a one. And so now I'm going to have to actually start following it. If we're going to make our picks, I gotta make an effort here.
Well, you could be like 98% of sports bettors and have no idea what you're betting on. How do you think these sports books stay in business? That's why I don't bet, but we will make our picks. Yeah. No, you're right. But the reason I ask if you follow it, I follow a lot, for a variety of reasons. I mean, back in it was during COVID when Mark Trestman was in the XFL, I was talking with the XFL. That was post Rough Riders career for me of going down and calling the play-by-play, but I didn't have the correct immigration paperwork to go, couldn't work in the States, and that kind of hatched the plan to do that. So I follow all that, or did. And here's the thing, what I'm trying to land the plane on. UFL fans are very similar to CFL fans in this. Oh my God, did they get defensive about their league? But you haven't seen any of that probably. If you talk down about them at all, they go nuts. Sound like anybody you know?
It's that second league. It's like you're in second place. You're not the NFL, so you feel like, oh, don't you dare bug my league. I'll punch you in the nose. But I will whine about it constantly. It's that's the mentality.
Or it's like, you can't lay a hand on my little brother, but I'm going to kick the crap out of him daily.
Yes, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know that the UFL's, that's certainly CFL fans, but UFL fans, I'm not sure if they've graduated to that. I don't think the league's been around that long. But there's some interesting things going on with it. And Mike Davis is joining us in hour 2 from the Vegas Nighthawks Indoor Football League. He can talk every league at every level in depth. He knows far more what's going on than I am. But I'm as they get ready to kick off Friday, March 27th, which is how many Fridays from now? 2, 3? I don't know. I go one day at a time, as you know. But there's players dropping in and out of that league like crazy. So like Taylor El Gersma, speaking of Waterloo, or he was Wilfrid Laurier quarterback, Heck Crichton Trophy winner, had the cup of coffee with the Packers. Now he's in UFL camp right now, and apparently it's got a lot of Canadian football fans pissed off, but he's doing what's best for him, which you and I would agree. You got to do what's best for you. But on the flip side, Lorenzo Molden IV, CFL fans would know that name, right? 10 years pro. Did you see that he announced his retirement the other day? And like he was in camp in the UFL. So Mike Davis has been telling me there's been players dropping in and out, and it's tenuous, and it's not that stable. The one thing about the CFL, I mean, you and I are both fans, and it's been around for over 100 years. If there's one thing it has, it's stability. Yes. That's the one thing they can hang their hat on, right?
Well, I mean, we haven't heard that, oh my God, the league's going to fold in decades. I remember back in I think probably the 80s, it was every time you turned around, it's like, oh, the league's going to fold. Oh, no, the league. Now you don't hear any of that. So stability for sure. Yet we still get the fans whining and bitching. Oh, the seats aren't comfortable enough. Get over it.
That's a people thing. That's not a league thing, of course. And here's the thing, because it's a Football Friday, and I promised it, and that's just cracked the rock of everybody commenting in. And unfortunately, you're going to have to leave right away and go get along your merry way. I'll handle this the rest of the way. But Gary in Penticton writes in, he says, man, I wish the Riders were playing the Lions in Kelowna this summer instead of Calgary and Edmonton, but I'm still going to go with my Riders jersey anyways. Of course, because you're a Rider fan. Right, that's what they do. But, I think the fans get this. BC was never going to fill a tiny little park in Kelowna in a game against Saskatchewan when they get 30,000 plus at BC Place for a Rider game. They don't draw like that for the Calgarys and the Edmontons. That's why that sucked for me as the voice of the Riders for 20 years. They're doing the Touchdown Atlantic games, and we never were in one because we drew so well on the road. And it wasn't until after I left, like Toronto would never give up a game against the Riders in Toronto when they could sell out the park, which we did all the time. Why would we go to Moncton and play in front of 11,000 people? Let's play Edmonton. Nobody cares about them. Sorry, but it's true.
It's true. It's a fact. I mean, why would you give up that revenue? You're not. It's just, you're not going to do it.
It's a business thing. How are we doing on time, Producer Corey? What do you got going on? Okay. Thank you. Vancouver Eric writes that he says Friday, March 27th, Stallions versus Kings. Who you got in that one, Kev? He's talking about the UFL, just so you know. I should tell you what league he's referring to.
Stallions. I'm going to take the Stallions just because I like the name.
Because it sounds good. Whatever the hell it is. It's like my friends, that have no idea, that are making picks in the past. Oh, I'll take the lion over the eagle because a lion would eat an eagle any day. People that don't know what they're doing. That's what we'll do. That'll be us with the UFL. What?
It'll be like you're betting on the horse race, and you see a horse, oh, that's a pretty looking horse. I'll bet on that one.
I like its socks. Yeah, exactly. John in Edmonton writes in, and John from Winnipeg says, true CFL facts by Rod. Stay tuned in, folks. Vancouver Eric says, exactly. We need that Rider gate at BC Place. See, I know that, and it's not like I'm very smart because I'm actually pretty dumb, but I've been around the league executives for a long time. That's why I picked up a few things, So anyways, the floor is yours, Kev. Last word for anybody as I take this ship into the night the rest of the way.
If you're into listening to post-trade talk, Jake and I will be going live with the Hughes Sports podcast tonight. Tune in. If not, next week, it's going to be a CFL heavy show because we have Jermaine Reed. There's a name from the past. Is going to join us, which is we're really excited about.
All right. Congratulations. The Hughes Sports Podcast. Find that on all major podcast platforms, just like this one. See you, Kev. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody, on a Football Friday. Oddly enough, this show's going exactly the way that I'd hoped. Basically, a lot of laughs, some fun, and I got a sports update coming up here. Mike Davis coming up in hour 2. No Darren Moose DuPont, and I apologize for that. Moose had to bail, and it's not his fault. He's flying from Toronto to Whitehorse in the Yukon, and his flight was delayed coming out of Toronto. He was hoping to hit us up on a layover. Didn't happen. On the trade deadline thing, okay, I'll morph this into the sports update, and then I'll bang on the insiders a little more. We do have trades, and I thank our viewers for updating us on this. The Tampa Bay Lightning have acquired forward Corey Perry from the Los Angeles Kings for a second-round pick. That's the latest trade. The Minnesota Wild have acquired forward Nick Foligno from the Chicago Blackhawks for future considerations. And I believe those are the only trades today so far in advance of the 3 p.m. deadline. And I'll continue the sports update in a moment. But here's the thing when I say the insiders look silly, and I feel bad saying this because these guys have all been unbelievably respectful to me. But somebody screenshotted a Frank Saravelli tweet from Daily Faceoff where he's saying, Corey Perry will not be traded. He's informed the Kings he doesn't want to be traded. 5 minutes later, Corey Perry traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Corey Perry didn't want to be traded. He told that to the Kings, and then he gets traded, this and this and this. And then there's Chris Johnson is a really good guy from Sportsnet. And I don't even know where these guys all work anymore. I don't know, TSN, The Athletic, and he's saying some guys really tell me that they really think Sergei Bobrovsky is going to be traded. What's the line from Slapshot? That's not much to go on. Reggie or whatever. This is how I know. And we've been talking about this for 3 weeks, and then my phone blew up yesterday with all this inside info from here, which I believe. I believe it. Here's what you need to know. Bill Zito's actively trying to trade Sergei Bobrovsky. We kind of opened the show with this. And Bob doesn't want to leave. Here's the thing. Nobody wants to leave South Florida. I don't ever want to leave South Florida. Bob doesn't want to leave South Florida. So that's not really breaking news. But Jeff Rimmer dropped that bomb on this show on Monday, the former voice of the Panthers and Blue Jackets, good friend of Bob's. And Bob doesn't want to leave. This is the only place that's been reported. But, as I said earlier, Bill Zito would not be doing his job if he wasn't doing what was best for the Florida Panthers. And that's to get assets for an expiring contract with Sergei Bobrovsky. Trust me, there's way more to it, but that's all I'm prepared to say. And to see the insiders chase their tail on this, they don't really know. Literally, call me. I can tell you what's going on. Well, this is interesting. I see this, Jeff the Stamps fan. He says, and the cheap-ass Flames will not be trading Kadri even though teams are knocking down their door. I saw that report, too. Murray Edwards doesn't want to absorb half of Kadri's contract or a portion of it for him to go somewhere else. I hate to say it, but it's that whole thing about why some teams always lose and why some teams always win. You want to know why the Flames struggle? I see that. That's the report anyways, coming from the top. And that's why I know that you're tuned in here. Pretty much every rich, I can morph this into a CFL if you want. Pretty much every rich guy I know is the same. They don't like paying people to do nothing. Here's an example. It's probably why Roy Shivers doesn't talk to me anymore. I don't care. But I was sitting there in 2006 with Shivers. He hadn't been real nice to me with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And I was saying Paul Hill was basically running the Roughriders. Financially, he was. And he was also my boss. So I'm like, Paul, you got to fire this guy. Why do you say that? I said, because he's actively running the team into the ground. He knows his contract's going to be up, and he's deliberately sabotaging this team. I know it. And Paul goes, oh, no, we got to wait till the end of the year, till those contracts up. We don't pay people to go away and not work for us. Then he's just doing more and more damage. And Roy ended up getting fired before Labor Day. They couldn't wait. But that's just a point of how these guys think. They don't want to burn money for nothing. Who really does? That's kind of how they got where they are. Jeff also says, White Horse? Interesting. That's part of Moose's other job. He's not going there for a holiday. He's going there for, if I have that right, the Arctic Winter Games. Moose and I talk almost every day. That's where he's going. Jay writes in, I don't know where he's, is that Jake Hughes? Writes in, he says, be careful about talking about Norman Murray Edwards. I'm just repeating what's reported, so don't come back at me, bro. That Flames ownership doesn't want to pick up a portion of Nazem Kadri's salary in the event of a trade. Norman Murray Edwards grew up across the street from my cousins, the German family in Regina. Me and Murray are fine. He actually follows me on Twitter. So there. Well, it is a football Friday, as I say. So there was the fan from Penticton, BC, Gary. Welcome back, Gary, by the way. Gary with 2 R's. He was saying it's too bad that Saskatchewan is not the opposition in those BC Lions games in Kelowna. It's going to be Calgary and Edmonton. And Jeff, the Stamps fan, says the Kelowna game will sell out. We don't need Rider fan braggadociousness. Of course they're going to sell out. Only holds 3,000. My God, a Pee Wee game would get 3,000. Sports update for the Ultimate Fan Zone. The new look Edmonton Oilers are home to the Carolina Hurricanes as part of tonight's NHL slate. The Oilers were busy before the league's trade deadline, adding defenseman Connor Murphy and forwards Jason Dickinson and Colton Dock in a pair of trades with Chicago. And then today, as I was reading earlier, the Blackhawks shipping Nick Foligno out and to Minnesota. Has anybody shoved a microphone in Connor Bedard's face today? Hey, Connor, how do you feel about the only guys you have left to play with being shipped out of town? How's that feel? That's kind of akin to the, hey, Connor McDavid, you haven't won jack squat. And Gretzky won it all. How's that feel? Also tonight, Vancouver visits Chicago, and Montreal is at Anaheim. Playoffs get underway today at the Canadian Men's Curling Championship in St. John's, Newfoundland. Alberta's Kevin Hughes faces defending champion Brad Jacobs, and hometown favorite Brad Gushue meets Manitoba's Matt Dunstone. The winners advance to Saturday's 1 versus 2 page playoff game, while the losers play later today in the 3 versus 4 page playoff. The sports update brought to you as always by our very good friends at the Ultimate Fan Zone. Your team, your colors, your gear, get it all at Ultimate Fan Zone, in store or shop online at ultimatefanzone.ca. By the way, rep the team you love. The hottest RP show merch is just one click away. Visit rodpeterson.com and click on RP Store. Hats, mugs, T-shirts, we got it all. That's what we do. Oh, from the text line, 902-518-3033. Oh, there's a ton here. Bob in Medicine Hat writes in. He says, good morning, Rod and Kevin. Bob from Medicine Hat, watching your show. And also the trade deadline. You were keeping me busy this morning. Have a great weekend, guys. Go, Habs, go. Les Habitants have been strangely silent in advance of the trade deadline. Am I right? Kirk writes in from Toronto. He's watching on Game Plus TV. He says, a pineapple thing. Kevin doesn't know baseball. Grapefruit League in Florida and Cactus League in Arizona. Oh, is that? I wasn't even paying attention to what he said. We weren't even talking baseball, which reminds me, before we get out of this, or maybe, I'll roll this over into the next hour. I'm having too much fun with you people. We didn't even bring up baseball here in hour 1, so Kevin wasn't talking about it, was he? That is, by the way, the one I'm a little proud of myself for one thing. You guys have all been talking about this show and how long it's been going. 1,691 shows. We're in season 8. I did 9 seasons of my last job, the last radio show, where I only talked about one team every day for 2 hours. It was actually remarkably easy. Psst, don't tell anybody. And when I left that job, I had a lot of options, believe it or not. But it was Moose who came to me with partners and said, hey, would you be interested in hosting your own talk show called The Rod Pedersen Show? I said, sure. Where would it air? Where would it air? He goes, on Facebook. I'm like, I think he thought he was expecting me to laugh. And I'm like, I might do that. Give me some time to think about it. But I'm like, then I'm going to have to learn all the other sports and all the other leagues and all the other teams and stay on top of everything. I'm used to one team. But we did it. And in less than a year, we were on Game Plus television. And that's why we call them our overlords. And went to YouTube and all these other things. But anyways, thanks for sticking with us for so long. It's been fun learning all the other sports, but it was a little taxing, and that's my point. Kevin doesn't need to know baseball. We bring him on here for football and hockey. John Ohm, thank you for the kind words. He says, we are very proud of you in this show, Rod. Bravo. Thanks for everything. No, thank you. And John, I'm so glad that we've been able to meet. Robin Winthor says, Kraken captain Jordan Eberle is signing a 2-year extension with the team. Well, let's ask him about it. What made you want to stay in Seattle, Jordan? The weather. It's a great town. Okay. Mike Davis coming up in hour 2 as we go to air across Nevada and as always across Canada and 33 states here on Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
All right, welcome to a Friday, everybody. Most circles, and for the most part, it'll be a football Friday today on the RP Show on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network as we roll into Hour 2 on the Game Plus Television Network. But it is also NHL Trade Deadline Day. And I'll tell you something for this old dog trying to learn new tricks. Hi. This is what I love about you people, the viewers. You don't mind that we're airing not live in a variety of places like across Nevada or in podcast form or even WQVZ radio, which we don't talk about enough, across the U.S. South. Welcome to what is Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show and maybe making our way to becoming the world's favorite daytime sports talk show. I feel like that's happening. But it's NHL Trade Deadline Day. And what I can tell you is today's guest, which is brought to you by Prairie Panels, Mike Davis. He will be, well, point one of the Quick Six show topics is NHL trade deadline stuff. So just hang on. Mike Davis is a football guy, if there ever was one. He's the head coach and general manager of the Vegas Nighthawks of the Indoor Football League, CFL alum, former Virginia Tech Hokie. We ain't going to talk hockey with Mike. He don't want to. He's from Virginia, where they don't know even know what hockey is. So we'll get to the football with Mike. But because of our NHL ties, airing in a variety of NHL markets and living in one as well, let's talk about what's gone on so far. And I'm having a hell of a lot of fun following the insiders chase their tails on all of this. With full disclosure, I respect those guys. I'm in the trade. I understand it. It's a very difficult job. But people are now making fun of them. One guy saying Corey Perry's not going anywhere. He's told the LA Kings that he doesn't want to be traded. Next guy, 5 minutes later, Corey Perry's been traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning. What? But this guy. And then there are those that are saying, oh, great. Because Corey Perry lost 3 consecutive Stanley Cup finals, everybody thinks, oh, you're tanking if you sign Corey Perry. He won the Stanley Cup in Anaheim in 2007, okay? He's a warrior, as Dave Ritchie used to say in Winnipeg. So that's a big move for the Tampa Bay Lightning today. And also the Minnesota Wild acquiring forward Nick Foligno from the Chicago Blackhawks for future consideration. So the Canadian viewers all know who's loading up. And for the U.S. viewers that don't follow it as closely, I'll tell you, Minnesota's loading up. Colorado's trying to load up. Utah's loading up. It's all the arms. Dallas is loading up. And as per usual, your Vegas Golden Knights, who play tonight, right? Yeah, they're home to those Minnesota Wild. Maybe it's a Stanley Cup Western Conference preview, final preview. They get their work done ahead of time. And here's your daily Kelly McCrimmon story, the general manager of the Golden Knights, which, breaking news, Monday, Jesse Granger of The Athletic, Las Vegas. He is the Vegas reporter, Vegas Golden Knights reporter for The Athletic website. He'll be with us on Monday to talk NHL, post-trade deadline stuff. But anyways, here's how things have changed. And why I want to talk football here today is the other networks are falling all over themselves talking hockey. Certainly in Canada they are. A lot of people came here for football talk. You'll get that with Mike Davis next. But it's not like I don't know what's going on. So I'm sitting here waiting now. What do we got? 2 hours, as I sit here live today, before the trade deadline hits in the National Hockey League. Well, for full disclosure, we're old. 30 years ago, okay, I was with a rival team in junior hockey from Kelly McCrimmon. He was with Brandon. I was in PA. And we had trade deadlines then, too. But back then, it was before the internet. So we would be riding our dinosaurs down the highway on our mobile phone. Well, not me, but our general manager would be on the phone trying to make trades in advance of the deadline. And we knew that we were going up against Kelly McCrimmon. We were trying to get Brian McCabe. We were trying to get all these guys. I feel like Chris Phillips was involved. It's a long time ago. The point of the matter is we always lost the trade. We always lost in the trades to Kelly. I don't even know how he does it. He just does it. So when he left Brandon to go to Las Vegas and launch that team, and then I saw that interview with him where he said, we're not doing anything different in the NHL than what we did in the WHL. I'm like, oh, great. Vegas is going to be good forever, and Kelly's going to win every trade. Fast forward to 2026, he didn't wait until the very last minute to get his deals done. He got Rasmus Anderson done, 6 weeks ago? Got Nicholas Roy. Well, no, Roy was gone. Nick Dowd out of Washington yesterday. He didn't wait till the deadline because we don't have dinosaurs anymore and mobile phones. Whatever the hell it is, Kelly's getting it done. And that's the only reason why, I've brought it up a couple of times. Bill Lindsay was on this show last week, the Florida Panthers great. He's like, oh man, I don't know. How is Vegas always a cup contender? It's not your fault. Okay? You don't know how Kelly operates. I do. So anyways, that's my TED Talk on the trade deadline. And then the other thing is, whatever. You're sitting here watching the show today because you find it entertaining and you love the Rod Pedersen show. These insiders are doing the best that they can. But yesterday, my phone was blowing up with insider information here in South Florida about Bobrovsky and contract talks, trade talks with his own team. And I'm like, I don't want to know this. Why are you telling me? I don't want to know. Why are people always telling me their business? I don't want to know the business. But as it was reported on Monday, it's true. Jeff Rimmer wasn't going to come on this show and lie or say inaccurate information. Sergei Bobrovsky doesn't want to leave South Florida. Nobody does. But Bill Zito, the general manager, wouldn't be doing his job if he wasn't investigating the best trade for Sergei Bobrovsky, whose contract expires at the end of the season. And read between the lines. So, yeah. Okay. Brent has just checked in from Wellington, Florida. He says, what did I miss? Sorry, I'm late. No Bob news. Well, again, I'm so glad that you came to us. No, Bob has not been traded yet, but as they say, day ain't over yet. But Corey Perry's been acquired by the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Nick Foligno has gone from Chicago to Minnesota. And can somebody please ask Connor Bedard how he feels about the only guys that can skate have been traded out of Chicago? At what point? There were people in Chicago that were all mad at me at the start of the year when I said they ain't all that. They ain't. I saw them here get shut out by Bob on opening night, 3-0. I'm like, they got nothing. And Bob is too dialed in for this time of this. It was the first game, and Bob had a shutout. Okay, this tells you what he's capable of. It's like, Bob, dial it back a little bit. You're going to burn yourself out over 82 games. Pretty much did. And here's Chicago selling off everything. Glenn in Medicine Hat writes in, he says, given the lack of NHL trade activity today, seems there's nothing to talk about on TSN but the Leafs. Makes it easy to tap out. Well, that's why people come here, because we're talking about every other team, not the crappy one in Toronto that for whatever reason everybody's fixated on, but I get it because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. It's the exact same thing. Where was I? 902-518-3033. That is the text line number, brought to you by Western Dodge. Drive with confidence. Shop Western Dodge. Financing, selection, and service you can count on. Okay. I'm ready for the weekend. Did I tell you that? I will be staying off social media, so don't try to DM me. Don't try to @ me, because I'm not going to be near my phone. Because it's been a long week of dealing with crap. Kirk in Toronto writes in, he goes, those seats at BMO Field are for World Cup only. Let me walk this back for those that aren't paying attention. BMO Field in Toronto, the home of the MLS team, Toronto FC, and the CFL's Saskatchewan Roughrider, or Toronto Argonauts, sorry. Feels like a home game when we were there. Have added, I don't know how many. Can you people in Toronto tell me how many extra seats they've added? They're aluminum bleachers in the upper deck. And of course, this is my point, how I got on this godforsaken topic, is somebody tweeted a photo of the temporary seats they've added to make an upper deck at BMO Field. It's a nice stadium. I broadcast many, many games out of there. I always liked going to BMO, other than the fact the broadcast booth was the size of a closet at my grandpa's house. But anyways, Kirk in Toronto writes, and he goes, those seats are for World Cup only. They're temporary and will be removed when the games are over. Nothing to do with the Toronto Argonauts. And he wants to clarify that because people were writing or tweeting photos of it going, you couldn't pay me enough to sit in those seats. I'll tell you what, then don't. Oh, I don't believe this for a second. Jason in Red Deer writes, and he says, there could be a trade between Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon, and TSN would still, oh, yeah, okay. He said, and TSN would still talk about the Leafs. That's the problem, but here's the thing. It's worked for them. And my bad, that just completely derailed my train of thought, but maybe that's a sign that we should move on. On this I said it was going to be Football Friday. Point 2, Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, Mike Evans, and Trey Hendrickson are among the headliners in free agency, which starts Monday in the National Football League, when teams can begin discussions with pending free agents. Meanwhile, Fernando Mendoza won a Heisman Trophy with Indiana, won the Hoosiers' first ever national championship, and he will be the number 1 overall pick in this spring's NFL draft when the Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock next month. The rest of the NFL draft, however, isn't that clear-cut. And we will talk with Mike Davis about this when he joins us after the break. We still have plenty of time in this segment. I'm just saying if he's logged in, we'll prep him. It's not even a certainty that another quarterback will be selected in the first round after Mendoza, although Ty Simpson made a strong case at the Scouting Combine. The first edition of the Associated Press 2026 mock draft has 3 pass rushers going right after Mendoza, right? 2, 3, 4. And Simpson going to the Steelers at number 21. And speaking of the Steelers, here's an interesting thing. That is our poll question today for EMJ Marketing. Expert voices, impactful messages. Discover the perfect keynote speaker at EMJ Marketing. Go to emjmarketing.com for more information. Aaron Rodgers. Not sure if you saw. You probably did. He's resumed his weekly appearances on Pat McAfee show on ESPN. Insert eye roll here. He was removed from the show last NFL season and during the season, probably because of his inflammatory comments. I don't know. But where is he going to go? Yes, I know it's 1:11 Eastern. Thank you, Carlos in Indiana, for pointing that out. 11:11 Mountain. If you observe, 1:11 and 11:11. The daily ins and outs of the Aaron Rodgers drama is so 2023. But that is our poll question today. Where will Aaron Rodgers end up in 2026? Your options are these. A, Pittsburgh, where he played last year and had signed just a 1-year deal. B, Minnesota. C, retirement. Or D, other. And the wildest thing ever is the majority are saying other. Maybe we'll lob that at Mike Davis as well when he joins us now. Where's Aaron Rodgers going to go? At the risk of, rolling my eyes at myself, it is going to be, again, for the lack of the other things that I just said, the draft. That's the number 1 storyline in the National Football League as we speak. And every day this week, I've been listening to NBC Sports Radio while out for my run, because I always do. And I'm like, this is slim pickings, guys. Click over to NHL Radio. Don't do that to me. Slim pickings. Today they were talking about McDonald's hamburgers. Yesterday they were talking about children's television shows. And I'm like, it's slim pickings right now in the National Football League. But having said that, let me just roll this into the next point, because we're getting up against it for time on this break. And by the way, the Quick 6 show topics in the warm-up are brought to you by Neil Chark of Uniglobe Carefree Travel. Whether it's team travel, sports getaways, business trips, or bucket list vacations, Neil and the team at Uniglobe Carefree Travel deliver expert planning, seamless service, and trusted experience every step of the way. Planning your next trip? Connect with Neil at uniglobecarefreetravel.com. The CFL Combine is going on in Waterloo for fans of the Canadian Football League today. That's about all I will say about that. 80 players are participating in the Combine, but the football guys get all hot and bothered about it, and I get it, why they do. Mike Davis is going to explain why they do and why it's important to do these types of things when he joins us next. But also the UFL season kicks off on Friday, March 27th. Stallions and Kings will be doing UFL picks, and I've just noticed there's a similarity between CFL and UFL fans. Huge. How dare you diss our league? Whatever you want to call that syndrome, They both have it. And we're going to get sucked down the rabbit hole of talking about it when we come back. Our guest sponsor is Prairie Panels. They are a Saskatchewan-based company specializing in high-quality construction panels and engineered building solutions. Whether it's for agricultural buildings, shop construction, or commercial projects, Prairie Panels brings innovative, durable products backed by local expertise. If you're looking for building materials you can trust, from steel panels to structural solutions, be sure to check them out, prairiepanels.ca. We're going to talk all levels of football with Mike Davis next because he can do that. NFL, CFL, UFL, college, and indoor football league when the head coach and GM of the Vegas Nighthawks joins us next. We are broadcasting across Nevada on Silver State Sports, as always across Canada and 33 U.S. states on Game Plus TV, podcast, and WQVZ radio.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the RP Show on Silver State Sports and Game Plus TV, brought to you in part by Vegas.com. Get $50 off your next ticket purchase with the promo code Daylight50. Top shows like Carrot Top, The Empire Strikes Back, Burlesque Parody, and Michael Jackson Won by Cirque du Soleil. Get your tickets today at Vegas.com. The promo code is Daylight50. Mike Davis joining us from the Vegas Nighthawks in Henderson, Nevada. Hey, Coach, good to see you. I'm just going to open this up. Can you take a swing at our poll question, Coach? It's where will Aaron Rodgers end up in 2026? Your options are Pittsburgh, Minnesota, retirement, or other. What do you think?
Other.
Everybody's saying other. Okay, what's other to you?
Well, you look at what they need to do. Who needs quarterbacks? Raiders. Obviously, Minnesota's in your poll question. Miami,
Indy.
Well, they just franchise tag Daniel Jones, so that's not a good fit because Aaron Rodgers wants to play, right?
Right.
I just if it's me, I may trade the first pick for a haul of picks, get me a veteran, find me somebody to groom the team and figure out. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks next year, right? Dante Moore, Arch Manning. I mean, of course, I'm going to draw a blank. But there's 4 or 5 quarterbacks next year. If you had, in my opinion, if you had Mendoza in that draft, he would be 3 to 5, right?
Wow.
And that's just my opinion. I think that Aaron Rodgers brings so much to you. Obviously, you look at the Raiders; they should have a phenomenal running game. Kubiak is known for that as well. Look what he did in Seattle. It's just they've got some things, some weapons they can go get, and I mean they have $100 million in cap space. I mean you're playing with monopoly money.
Well, maybe they go after Kenneth Walker, who's probably the number one name on the board heading into free agency next week. But here's the beautiful thing about you, Mike. You think like a coach. You don't think like us dummies that are fans and media. Okay, so you're thinking, or you're looking at it as a personnel guy and a GM, which is different than the rest of us. But look, we'll come back on the Raiders. I've been mentioning that the CFL regional combines today in Waterloo, working towards the national combine. We just came out of the Indy combine in the NFL. Speak for all football people, Mike. That's your chair today. That's your seat. All football people, you're going to speak for them. Why is the combine so important?
Because the football world is based on metrics and numbers, right? Who's going to run well? Okay, film is great, right? But do you get a guy who tests well and maybe he's lacks some production? Do you have a guy that tests terrible, who's a great football player? I mean, that's genuinely that's the question everybody asks, right? Give me somebody who's a great football player and I'll take him. Give me and then some people would say, hey, give me a better athlete and I'll make him a better football player. So what is your thought process as a team, as a GM, as a coach? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to spend more time grooming or more time correcting your football, your play and production on the field?
So that's kind of like the first way into the door. What are your physical skills? But you kind of like to get to know the guy after the fact, right? But it starts with the skills. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, for example, I actually told this to our group yesterday. Like Puka Nacua, I think ran 4.7 at his combine at the pro day. Puka Nacua plays way faster than 4.7 for the Rams on the football field. And he's tough as nails, and he always seems to get open, right? Puka Nacua is a football player that had a terrible pro day, right? So that it just, some people get nervous. They didn't know how to do it. Okay, I got to figure it out. And you put that pressure on you. I got to perform right this second. Some people, it's hard, right? And then you have some people, like you watched the NFL last weekend, like it's becoming crazy. Like some of these guys are running the way they're running. I mean, think about it. The Sadiq kid, the tight end from Oregon, right? 6'3", 240, ran 4.39 or 4.4 flat, jumped 40 inches. Like that's a freak of nature, right? I mean, that's as crazy as that sounds. Like, and the funny part about it, there's some freaks of nature in the CFL. I mean, some of those guys are just unbelievably athletic. They get passed up on, and you just kind of make your way and find your way.
Mike Davis with us, the head coach and GM of the Vegas Nighthawks. And I'm going to ask about your team and your league coming up. But I'm fascinated by the Combine stuff. And I'm sure you see the fans are saying, oh, it's boring. I might have been guilty of saying the same. Do you laugh when you see people say that? I understand how necessary it is to you guys, but you can probably see why fans would say that too. Do you see that about the Combine stuff?
Yeah, because a lot of people, we watch it, right? We watch it and we don't know what are we looking for, right? Like the big guys, hey, let me watch their 10-yard split. That's going to be get off. I mean, when's a big guy running 40 yards? I mean, if you're doing that, you're in trouble. O-line, D-line, okay, what are we doing, right? They want to see how twitchy you are, how fast can you get through 5 to 10-yard split and go from there, right? The skill guys is what's fun. Okay, let's see who can really, really run. But then you take all that and you translate it like the receivers and put them in the gauntlet, right? You see some of those guys, they can't run in a straight line to save their life, right? I mean, first of all, it's a difficult drill for a reason. But as you go through it, you kind of understand what they're looking for, what benefits come out of each drill and things like that. And if you're a personnel guy or multi-layered football guy, right? We're not – the problem I have, Rob, is right now is we all play fantasy football, right? You go out and you play fantasy football and like, oh, I can be a GM of a team. Well, go build it.
Well, I get that you were being facetious when you said that. Not everybody would. But here's the thing that I want people to understand, too, before we move on to the other stuff. I should have told you I was going to ask you about this, but you're doing just fine. You're not just looking at what you're writing down for numbers. You and I stood on a field in Bradenton, Florida, and I'm going to say, you guys were running the players into the ground. You were. And I turned to you, and I said, Mike, how long are we going today? It was like 42 degrees. Celsius, like 95 Fahrenheit with humidity. And you were like, we got the field till 7. I knew what you meant. I'm not that dumb. You were looking to see who could stand up to what you were doing.
Yeah, it's a battle of attrition, right? Everybody says, pressure busts pipes or forges diamonds. I mean, you're going to figure it out, right? You get guys that come off the couch that everybody can look good for 30 minutes, right? Who looks good when in that third quarter and in that situation, right? You're less than a month from going to training camp, right? When you can still do that in the CFL, and now you can't do that anymore. So you could kind of get those guys, get you a wave. Okay, he's ready. All right, we're in trouble. We probably need 3 or 4 more guys. Now with the rules in the CBA, you can't do that. So it makes it a lot harder. You have to be that much more critical on your evaluation and make sure you're talking to the right people to make sure guys are in shape and ready to go.
Right. See, I hope people are paying attention to what Mike's talking about. And you thought I wasn't paying attention that day. I was listening, Mike. I'm always listening. Okay, to your team, you're in the middle of training camp, and I appreciate you spending the time. Tell us a little more, because you're going to be on here regularly, about the Vegas Nighthawks and the Indoor Football League, please, and what you guys are running down there.
Yeah, so we're part of a 16-team league. It's called the Indoor Football League. You can watch our games on Yahoo. We just signed a massive deal with Yahoo Sports and Yahoo. For us, yesterday and this morning was D-Day, so I got to be the bad guy and tell a couple people that it's not that they're not good enough; they're just not a fit for us. And out of those guys, most of them will end up going somewhere else and playing. And then our first game is next Sunday in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's a rematch of the championship game, and we're excited to kind of see what we have. On paper, on the field, you see guys running around. Obviously, we're not tackling things like that. We're taking care of the bodies, but we're excited about what we have and what it looks like so far.
Jason in Red Deer writes in, he says, the Vegas Nighthawks, I have never heard of them, but I am now a fan. Jeff the Stamps fan says, this guy is very smart. He's okay. We don't put Rudy Poos on this show. We don't put Rudy Poos on. You got to be good to come in. So that's what the leagues do. But tell us about, so you say you had your cut down today, where the teams are and some of the names people might know.
It's all over the U.S., Orlando, Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Des Moines, Iowa, Quad City, Illinois, in Fishers, Indiana is 5 miles outside of Indianapolis. San Antonio, Texas, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, Prescott Valley, Arizona, San Diego, Vegas, think that's all of them. Oh,
And
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, nice. The Regina of the U.S. Southwest, Albuquerque. That's what,
sure.
Am I right? That's what DeBuck said because his kid just played there with the Lobos. So we got a lot of CFL fans, as you know, tuned in. Again, we go fast. Can you just recap some of the players that you've sent up to the CFL? They would know these names.
Justin Rankin, Corey Woodruff, Cameron Dukes, Desmond Bland, Philip Wilder, James Caesar, Cordell Jackson in Edmonton. Just to name a few.
That's good. That's good.
We've had 44 guys that have come through here, or 47 guys that have come through here that have signed CFL contracts, and there'll be an opportunity.
And that's through Vegas alone, not just the league, but through Vegas alone. 47 players that have signed CFL Pro. Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, just pull this out for a second. When I was going to Vegas back in the day, when we were all going to Vegas back in the day, if you wanted to go watch sports, you were going to watch UNLV and AAA baseball. That's it. I mean, now talk about your team as a entertainment option. Are you getting tourists in there, or is that a local, hyper local fan base?
We do get some tourists, but it's a local Vegas market for us, right? Like, you're not coming in here, like, people come in to watch the Raiders and the Golden Knights and the Aces and things like that, soon to be the A's. You get some people come in to watch the Desert Dogs, right, and National Lacrosse, right, just because it's in Canada and things like that, and because they want to get out of the cold and they come to the warm weather, right? The benefit of us is we play in the summer. Like, our season starts next week and goes from March through the end of July, and so most places are starting to warm up at that time. So it's not really a destination. People don't want to come here when it's 110 degrees. Fortunate enough for us, we play indoors, and our fan base, we do really well. Obviously, winning helps. Our fan base is growing. It's grown exponentially over the last couple of years, and that's kind of what the main goal is.
As you say, winning helps. Now, refresh my memory. Was it you're coming back as defending champions, or was that the year before?
No, last year. We 2 years ago we lost on the last play to get to the championship. This year we ended up winning the championship on the last play, and it's always there hadn't been a repeat champion in this league since 2015, I believe. So I mean, it's hard. When you're gunning, people are gunning for us because we're Vegas. But obviously, when you win the championship, it puts a little extra motivation into you, and but we'll be ready for everything, and we'll give it our best shot.
You got that swag. Well, I'll tell you what, I enjoyed talking about this with you, but again, I'm getting so ensconced in the Indoor Football League talk. There are other leagues. Eric in Vancouver writes in, he says, can indoor guys contractually play in both leagues? Over to you.
No, not contractually. So what happens is a guy will come here, and they'll sign in the CFL. Some teams, like Corey Woodruff did it in BC. Corey Woodruff played 6 games for us, played his way into shape, took 3 weeks off before he reported to BC. So once you signed to a CFL contract, you cannot be on an active contract to somebody else. So everybody that we've had here that's gone somewhere else and played, we have like an exempt list, other league exempt. So we release them internally in our league. We retain their rights in case they get cut. And then they go to the CFL and play.
You know what? I just learned something but you can play in the UFL and the CFL in the same year, right? Because guys have done it.
Yeah, you can do that. You can play in the UFL and the CFL, but you have to be released, right? You can't go the other way. You're not going to go to the CFL because the season, the UFL season starts now and go from there. Okay,
Brent is watching in the Bridge City. He writes in. We got you about 5 more minutes, Mike, if you're good with that. Brent in the Bridge City writes in. He's I appreciate you. He says, I think it's great having gents like this on the show. There's tons you can learn from guys like this. Look, listen, and learn. At least that's my attitude. That's from Brent in the Bridge. Well, we knew that Mike would be great coming on here. I knew the viewers would love him. UFL kicks off Friday, March 27th. So tell me what you can. You're far more diplomatic than I am with these things. I see Lorenzo Molden just retired, but I thought he was playing in the UFL. Taylor Ogersma's in camp in the UFL. It just seems like a grease fire to me. Or is that me? What's going on?
No. You gotta toe the line here. Be politically correct.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Personally, I think that wealthy people get wealthy by not losing money, right? You see the reports about you've lost 200 million, 150 million, 180 million, whatever it is over the last couple of years, each year. I think that Mike Rapoli taking over is a great thing, but he's trying to revive it, and they're going to have bumps in the road, right? If you look at all the coaches, and I've said this before, they went A.J. McCarron, Birmingham guy, Alabama. Ted Ginn Jr., Ohio State, Columbus guy, right? So they tried to get these big names and put them in the cities that they're going to be the head coaches. Whether they're ready or not, that's to be determined. But it's just, I think that like Lorenzo Maldini's situation, and there's been a lot of guys abnormally more than normal as they've gotten there and they've just found out that's not what they wanted to do. Maybe it's for whatever reason, whether it's the setup, the facility, I don't know, right? I've heard tons of different stories. Who knows what you believe and what's true and what's not. I just think, guys, it's a grind. Football's a grind. And if you're not mentally and physically prepared for it, it's hard, right? And you get some guys from the CFL that want to pursue the NFL or the UFL, and they've gotten very good at the CFL game, and it's become very easy for them. Prime example, Sean Lemon. Like, watch this. People forget Sean Lemon started in the Indoor Football League for the Sioux Falls Storm. And then he goes up there, and Sean Lemon's pushing 40, right? But he still knows the game so easy. Now, can Sean Lemon come in and go to the UFL and be successful as a pass rusher? Probably, because he's so veteran savvy. But does Sean Lemon want to be that guy, and do Lorenzo Maldini's want to be that guy and take the beating and have to play the run all the time down in the States? And some do and some don't. So I just think they get into it and they figure out, oh, maybe my heart's not really in it. This might be tougher than what I wanted, and I can bow out gracefully.
Yeah, they're not kids anymore. As Lorenzo said, he's played 10 years. That's a long time in pro football. I'm going to check my timer here. We only got a minute and a half left. I don't know where the hell the time went. But you mentioned Sean Lemon. Were you on the sidelines that night in Toronto when him and Jones almost fought? Because
I was.
That's like next week, can we talk about that?
The problem is, when I was with Jonesy and him, I was in the booth, right? So you just see it from afar, right? That was the smartest decision I ever made was going in the booth. I didn't have to worry about the weather. I just had to endure the cold weather for the pregame. So for me, it was, you sit up there with the guys and you work from there. It was great. But I do recall it. There's a couple stories of how it happened and what was going down. And
of course. You got one side. I'm sure you didn't get Lemons. That day, they should have split the benches to opposite fields. They're finally doing it now. But I saw those two coming at each other like two rams on a cliff. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. Anyways, hey, Mike, this is awesome. And the viewers are all saying, make Mike a regular. He is, everybody. I'll let you get back to camp. Thanks for your time, Coach.
No worries. Thanks, Rod.
Mike Davis, the head coach and general manager of the Vegas Nighthawks of the Indoor Football League, longtime friend and a great football guy. We'll be right back with more on the Game Plus Television Network and Silver State Sports right after this.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Well, this is just unbelievable, bringing the worlds together. Again, for the benefit of the live audience, here's the latest trade on NHL Trade Deadline Day. The Minnesota Wild have traded Vinny Hinostroza to the Florida Panthers. The Wild will be getting future considerations back. Hinostroza played 9 games for the Panthers earlier in his career. The Seattle Kraken have given an extension to Jordan Eberle. The Kraken captain will average $5.5 million in the 2-year extension. Sportsnet reports. My favorite Regina Pat ever. San Jose Sharks give extension to goaltender Alex Nedeljkovic. And the Tampa Bay Lightning acquired forward Corey Perry from the Los Angeles Kings for a 2028 second-round pick. The Minnesota Wild also acquiring forward Nick Foligno from the Chicago Blackhawks for future considerations. We do the junior hockey report every day for the Mad Greek Eatery. All 3 teams battling for the final 2 playoff spots in the Western Hockey League's Eastern Conference are in play tonight, including the Moose Jaw Warriors. The Warriors play the Blades in Saskatoon, while the Red Deer Rebels, who are 1 point up on Moose Jaw, are in Medicine Hat. And the Regina Pats, who are 3 points up on Red Deer, play host to Lethbridge. The Warriors are home Saturday night against Lethbridge, and that's when you're going to go down to the Mad Greek, right? And say, hey, to Johnny, you treat us, the Mad Greek, tell him the RP show sent you. For legendary ribs, delicious pizza, and late-night bites, it's the Mad Greek Eatery, open until 11 p.m. I love bringing people together. That's kind of what I'm known for. And we do this thing there with Mike Davis, which I got Mike Davis stories. But I just got a message this morning from a member of the Henderson Silver Knights. That's all I'll say. The American Hockey League team in Henderson, they want to do business. It's all coming together. We were on a field in Bradenton, Florida. Me and Mike Davis. You can see, I knew Mike would be good. And when him and I were talking on the phone, I said, yeah, Barker pulled the pin. He wasn't comfortable. You know, CFL was breathing down his neck. Mike's like, I'll do it. And I'm like, great, let's do it. I knew Mike would be great. He was nervous the first couple of times, but now he's rocking and rolling. Because he's a football guy. He's not a broadcaster. But maybe he will be. Anyways, they were just running the players into the ground. They ran what I say earlier in the week was last week. I said Chris Jones ran a combine every day on those tryout camps back in the day when we were all together in the CFL. And Mike was his right-hand man, and they let me right in the middle of the field. People thought I was a coach. Hilarious that they would think that. But anyways, they're running the players right into the ground. Jones was doing it, not Mike. But after like 5 hours of a practice, I turned to Mike. I'm like, yo, how long are we going here? And now that you know him enough, he gives me that. We got the field till 7. I think we lasted like another hour, but that's just the way Mike talks. It was a war of attrition. So forget about the vertical and the bench press and all the things they do. They want to see who can last, who wants it that bad. I could tell a million stories about this. Vancouver Eric writes that he says, great show, RP. Football Friday, always good. That makes it special. We squeeze it all into the Friday. It's perfect. And then that one night of BMO Field, which we've been talking about today, they put the temporary seats up. Everybody's bitching about these aluminum seats. What did you want? Lazy boys for the World Cup. But I was calling a game at BMO Field, Riders Argos, 2017. We had just traded Sean Lemon to the Argos because it was 2016. Jones and him couldn't get along. Our head coach, Chris Jones, star pass rusher, Sean Lemon for them. And the sidelines, the benches were on the same side, which we all knew was just inviting a problem, right, Duran? And anyways, after this one play, Lemon's coming off the field, and he comes at Jones, and I'm like, oh, here we go. They're beaking at each other. I thought there was going to be a fight. And that's why I had to say to Davis, with Mike, were you on the sidelines? Yes, I was. We were all there. Oh, I was saying the other day, I've got 2 working headlines for my 4th book, which will be memoirs. One was originally, I'll Take It From Here, was going to be the title of it. But then I'm also thinking I was there, because that keeps coming up all the time. Oh, the 2012 World Juniors, I was there. Oh, the Super Bowl, I was there. Anyways, I got the picks coming up. I got to do that. And the sports update if we have time. Very special day. We'll be right back. This is the RP Show on Silver State Sports and Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Okay, welcome back for Overtime, everybody. Final segment of the week. Well, this show has really brightened me up today. I was exhausted waiting for the weekend. I'm like, this has been so much fun. Let me get down to business first, and then I got a few stories. Overtime is brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. If you're looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot, now with personalized shooting training for the kids, stand out. Perfect your shooting at Overtime Hockey Lanes with a professional instructor, 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. Tell Randy and Michelle that I sent you. Picks for Pump Jacks Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn. Florida at Detroit tonight in the NHL. Pains me to say it. Detroit will win. Could get ugly. Colorado at Dallas. Dallas. Vancouver at Chicago. Who can both teams lose? I'll say Chicago. Montreal at Anaheim. Ducks are on a roll, baby. Quack, quack. I'll take them. Carolina at Edmonton. Stanley Cup Final preview. A rematch of the 2006 Stanley Cup Final. I'll take the Edmonton Oilers tonight, Alex, for 100. Minnesota at Vegas. The Knights will be happy to be home back in the fortress. They'll have their way with Minnesota. Don't let me down. And St. Louis at San Jose, definitely a Sharks win there. Telling stories earlier there about that game in Toronto I was broadcasting. Chris Jones. Look him up for those that don't know. Not the D tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Another one. He was our head coach. He was going to, I'll say it, he won't. It looked like he was going to fight the DN, Sean Lemon, from the Toronto Argonauts, who we had just traded a week or two before. Vancouver Eric writes in and he goes, that would have been a quick fight. Why? Chris Jones is from the mean streets of South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, where they grow up fighting. Not to say Sean Lemon ain't tough either, but I wouldn't be so fast to not bet on Jones. You know, look it up on the map. It's right down there on the Tennessee-Georgia line. I've been through there. Not to South Pitt, by South. There's a turnoff that says South Pittsburgh, 7 miles. I thought about it when we were driving through there, and I'm like, and I'm just going to keep going. Yeah, we're not getting into the rumors at this stage of the game, but thank you, Jeff the Stamps fan, on NHL trade rumors. As we sit here today, or right now, Bob is still a Florida Panther. And speaking of Florida, that reminds me of something, too. Coming out of the break there, Mike Davis was texting me about how much fun he had on that interview. And I knew that once he got warmed up and got over the nerves, that he'd be great on here, and he was great today. And when I was looking at taking this show on the road for a new home, what was it, 5 years ago, I called Mike up. He's in Vegas. I said, hey, you guys should buy the RP show. And he's like, how would that work? And I said, well, we'll talk Golden Knights. We'll talk Silver Knights. We'll talk Nighthawks. We'll promote your teams. And he's like, oh, how would that work? I'm telling you. And then I end up in South Florida, and he's like, well, come on to Vegas. I'm like, I'm already here. I'm not leaving here now. Which also, speaking of South Florida, I just saw in the break word that Jason Sanders is being released as the kicker for the Miami Dolphins. They couldn't come to an agreement on a contract, and that's unfortunate. Jason Sanders, great guy, big Florida Panthers fan. Met him through our mutual confidant, Gil Scott from Gil Sports Management Worldwide. Hey, Trevor from the 203. Checking in from Deerfield, Florida. Look at all the news you just got, Trevor. Jason Sanders getting released by the Dolphins. Bob still a Panther as we sit here right now. Rich in Edmonton writes in. He says, Reg Dunlop and the Minnesota Nighthawks. Oh, they got a new team up there. Francine didn't go. I feel like we'd all like to know how that turned out. But it's not going to happen. Like I say, slim pickings in the NFL today, but we picked through it. It's going to pick up next week, though, right? With their version of pre-free agency. I wanted to ask Mike how important is the Combine. He explained that. He also explained the IFL, and now we got some new fans. See, that's what I kind of know how things go. We get talking IFL and Nighthawks. All of a sudden, the viewers are writing in saying, didn't even ever heard of them. They got to go to a game. Hello. That's how I make teams money. You're welcome. I've found the trade deadline coverage and drama very entertaining. I feel bad for the insiders. I do and I don't. There's an unbelievable amount of pressure on those insiders. All of them in any league. Like the Adam Schefters in the NFL, the Jake Glazers in the NHL, the Elliot Friedmans, the Darren Dragers. It is a tough grind, man. The baseball guys, too, Jeff Passan. This is where they make their money, but this is also where they look silly. And I will say this. I had the good occasion last week to spend a long time with Sean McKenzie of Sportsnet, the son of Bob McKenzie. And I'm like, your dad was the original insider. And he was so proud. He's like, yes, he was. I tell you what, you like those conversations that start with, your dad. I get those all the time. Those are my favorite conversations from the hockey guys. Oh, yeah, John Ohm. Oh, you have no idea, John Ohm. He says, have a great weekend, Rod and peeps. Remember to be good to yourself and others. Oh, I plan to be real good to myself this weekend. And it'll be big fun. By the way, as I mentioned earlier, I'll say it again. Monday's show, we already know. Jesse Granger will be with us from The Athletic, Las Vegas. He covers the Golden Knights for the subscription-based New York Times-owned website, The Athletic. Jesse Granger will be with us. And Scruffy, too. The untouchable Mitchell Scruffy Blair. Great job. Great week. Producer Corey, thank you. And thanks to the viewers. Without you, there is no us. And as John Ohm said, be good to each other, but most importantly, be good to yourself, because if you don't, nobody will. See you next week here on Game Plus TV and Silver State Sports.
That.